Hi, this is Josh Berry again from the BALSAMS Grand Resort Hotel in Dixville Notch, New Hampshire. And the recipe I'm about to show you now is the process of our smoked salmon. We smoke all the salmon here at the BALSAMS fresh. It comes in from a hatchery in Maine. We have a wonderful salmon fillet here that we've just taken off the side of the fish. Beautiful skin on this fish. And to start our smoked salmon, what we first have to do is cure the fish. Curing is using salt, and in our case, we use brown sugar as well to give it a little bit more of that maple sweet flavor that we want. Bacon, for instance, in America, we add brown sugar to our bacon. Bacon in Italy, for instance, is called pancetta, and they don't use any brown sugar, so it's not sweet. Again, if you think of smoked salmon as bacon, we smoke this fish. We're going to smoke it. Same thing with some bacon in Italy or other countries. They don't smoke it. They just hang it and cure it. So our smoked salmon in America and our bacons are what makes it special for us. And it's very important for us at the Balsams to reunite ourselves with some of these preserving techniques that have been lost for generations. But what we'll do now is I'm going to take the salmon, I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take my knife, and I'm just going to bend this fish a little bit so I can just get a nice thin slice. And I want to do a nice thin slice in here because we want some of the liquid from the salt through the osmosis process is going to remove some of that natural water in that fish. So we're just going to go in and we want to take a couple nice gashes in there. Not all the way through, just to break the skin. I have a hotel pan here. If you're going to do this at home, you could use this same method for trout. You could use the same method for salmon that you caught in the wild. I remember growing up in Maine on Sebago Lake. We used to catch salmon all the time. So it's wonderful to use this method there. So we have the salmon. This is just kosher salt that I have here. So I'm going to take some of this kosher salt and I'm going to rub it right over the fish. I'm going to drizzle that. Now it looks like a lot of salt, but we're also going to add some of our brown sugar. So we're going to add some of this brown sugar in there as well. About a cup of each for one side of salmon this big. So I want to mix that all together, okay? On top of the fish, around the fish, everything. Kind of pack it in there really nice and good. Now, you're going to want to take this and put this in your refrigerator or a cooler and let it sit overnight. What's going to happen is the next day, you're not going to see this sugar and the salt anymore. It's going to be completely wet, and there's going to be a lot of liquid that resides in the bottom of your hotel pan or your baking dish or cookie tray. You're going to dump that out, wipe off the salmon, and then you're going to put it in your cold smoker. If you wanted to cook this immediately and serve it immediately, you could use a hot smoker, which would be a direct heat method. At the Balsams, we use cold smoke, which is indirect, which means our cabinet for our wood chips that we use, our apple wood and maple wood, is on the side of the smoker. So we light them on fire, we blow them out so they create a nice smoke, and it fills up the smoking chamber, which has trays and trays and trays of salmon. The smoke doesn't cook the fish, but it just gives it that wonderful flavor that we like. After that, it escapes through a chimney, so it's just a cycle. But the heat does actually not touch the fish. What I have here is one of the salmon after it's done, okay? So what we have here is I'll take this out. I'm going to set it right on our cutting board. I'm going to bring the other salmon back just to show you how much liquid escapes. You see how big this salmon was? And it's very, it has some play into it, okay? This is very hard now, okay? And it even gets harder right down near the tail where it's thinner, okay? But it's very hard. So a lot of the liquids escape. So that's why years ago, this was a wonderful preserving method. Moisture is what makes things go bad. So we wanted to get some of that moisture escaped. For our smoked salmon dish today, we're going to take this wonderful salmon that we have. And I'm going to start making some beautiful, nice, thin salmon slices. Look at that. Look at that flesh right there. Wonderful red color left in that. And we want to go nice and thin across the side. So I'm going to take some of that. I'm going to gently drape this on some of our wonderful plates right here. Now this salmon, we don't want to give it too much. This is going to be a wonderful salad course that we're making here. So we just want to fit that in just like that. Okay? When you're done slicing your salmon, take the skin part, use that as your guide, and you can fold that right back up over it. Wrap it with plastic wrap or put it in a nice Ziploc bag. You can put it in your freezer. It'll freeze extremely well. Or you can use this for a multitude of different things. We're making a wonderful first course, a light spring luncheon dish, but this would be great over with some scrambled eggs. This is wonderful, sauteed with pasta, a nice smoked salmon pasta. So it has a multitude of tasks, and we use it here with our lox and cream cheese for breakfast, one of the most famous breakfasts at the Balsams.